Hi, drawing. So let's take a look at what you have to do for this week. So this week we're doing negative space drawings. And a negative space is, some of you may have heard of this already, but a negative space is basically the area and the space and the shapes that you see between objects. So it just gets you to look at your objects in a different kind of in a different way than you would be if you were just looking at a plant. And it helps you to kind of break this kind of attachment to what the actual object looks like, because it forces you to look at everything else, which also helps with proportion and scale and kind of framing your object in your page. So what I want you to do for this assignment is I want you to use, I think I said charcoal. Let's see, I can't remember what I said in the directions. Soft fine charcoal. You can use compressed charcoal. Soft fine charcoal is really good for this because it kind of allows you to not be so messy. But what you're gonna do, and let's see something. Let me close this out for a second. I'm gonna leave these guys open. Let's open up the examples that I have for you guys here. Here's my example file. You're gonna write about this. This is gonna be your 150 words. So I want you to do 4 drawings. I want you to, first of all, set up your page, set up your 18 by 24 inch pad. I don't think I did a setup example for this. If I remember, I will put it in here. Somebody remind me if I don't. But you're going to set up your page like you did for the contour line drawings, for the gesture drawings. Instead of saying contour line, that should just say gesture. And you're going to set up spaces for 4 negative space drawings. So hold on a second. Okay, here we go. So what I want you to do is I want you to do 2 objects, and what I want you to do for the other 2, and you can do what I want you to do for the other 2 is I want you to crop, because what happens is I want you to start paying attention to what is actually going into your composition. So I don't really, you can kind of like, I've given you this guide here. At least do one that's 9 by 12 inches. I think that'll fit. I think that'll fit on your page. It doesn't really matter. Well, no, I want you to do a 9 by 12 inch box, because in the directions I have you guys use a viewfinder, and there's a video on how to use a viewfinder and what viewfinders are all about. Here's a little demo. I didn't have time to actually do a good video for you guys. Those are coming, but they do take a lot of time. So but I did take the raw footage for it already. I just haven't edited it yet. But here is my example. You can use a cereal box, and here are the proportions. So it's 8. You can either do 18. So if you have an 18 by 24 inch page, this coincides with the 18 inch side, and that coincides with the 24 inch side. And you can break this down to 6 or 3, or you can break this down to 8 or 4. So it would be either 6 by 8 or 3 by 4. I can't really explain it in math because I'm not a math person, but they're all divisible. 6 and 3 are divisible, and 18, 8 and 4 are divisible, and 24. And it's just the proportions are correct. And that's why I want you to do this 9 by 12, because if you do 9 divided by 3 gives you 3, and 12 divided by 3 gives you 4, which means that it's the same proportion of your, and actually I should have added that in here too. I should have done 9 by 12. It's the same proportion as your 18 by 24 inch page. So that's how a viewfinder works. And I want you to I want you to use a viewfinder for this assignment. I want you to pick an object. The first 2, I'm going to let you guys kind of just like feel your way out, feel your way around the negative space drawings. They can look like this. These are just kind of like simulation drawings. Use objects that are a little bit complex. Don't use, something that's too simple. Don't use like a bottle with no negative spaces. You can use a simple chair. Here are chairs. Here are your examples. You can use a chair, you can use a stool, you can use you could really use, like, I'm looking at my kitchen sink right now, and actually there are some really, really interesting negative spaces that are happening. Um, Maybe I'll take a picture of it and I'll, save it for save the drawing for another day. But what I want you to do is I want you to use this viewfinder and I want you to crop. I want you to crop I want you to very carefully crop your composition. Here is a video. I don't remember what this video is. I watched it. I vetted all the videos, so I know it's pretty good. But if you look at the way that this person has cropped their subject, it's intentional. It's not just like, oh, I'm just going to plop it in the middle of the page, kind of like what's happening here. For the first two, that's okay because you're just kind of like getting your bearings. But for the second two, I want you to do croppings. And I think that I did not, I don't know. Hopefully I explained it correctly in the directions. And if I didn't, just let me know and I'll kind of refine them for you guys. Whoops. So, 3, and I say 3 here, so I'm going to change that. Don't forget your written statement. Frame your objects. You should spend probably, and actually probably it should be, yeah, I mean, it's like 30 to 45 minutes on each drawing. I would say 45 minutes to an hour even. Basically, the more time you spend on these, the better they're going to look. So, keep that in mind. It is a 3 credit class, so they are expecting you to do 3 hours of in class and 3 hours of out class. So keep that in mind. You should be spending at least 6 hours on the course material in class for this. 3, I'm actually going to change this. It should be 4. I don't know why I said 3. It should be 4 drawings. And here's the rubric: craftsmanship, PDF, written part. Make sure you're using the vocabulary. It's long enough, should be about 150 words, 150 words. The images, I'm looking for your images to be sharp, clean, in focus, bright. Make sure there's a pencil in it for size reference. On your 18 by 24 inch paper, properly formatted and set up, and that you demonstrate the understanding and principle of the lesson, meaning you are drawing negative shapes and you are cropping, and you're really looking and you're exercising line sensitivity or edge sensitivity when you're capturing those shapes. So if you guys have questions, email me and I will see you on Canvas. What I also wanted to say that I forgot to add in the first part of this video was that when you are experimenting with your negative spaces, don't be afraid to experiment. Don't think that you have to fill in every single inch of the area behind of the object. This person did. This is another class that I teach for another school, but this person did. And that is okay if you want to. But in their second drawing, they decided they were going to do something like this. And I think that the mark making that they used for this one on the right, actually ended up being really interesting. So don't be afraid to kind of experiment with the areas behind, the way that you're using your media. I just think that I think this person did a really great job. They use ambitious objects for the first 2 drawings, and they kind of, like experimented with their mark making. There's another one that I wanted to show you, so let's see if I can find it. I want to see this. So this one is a little less exciting, right? Because you don't really it's like you can tell that this person, first of all, it's too small. You should be drawing 18 by 24, but you can tell that this person was like, it's just not as interesting. If you look at this one in comparison to these, it just does not end up being as visually engaging, and they're not really quite like, this is not, having this line here, that's not a negative space. And you can kind of tell that they weren't looking very carefully at the watering can, because I have that exact watering can, which I'm actually looking at right now. And there are certain little like details that I can see in the watering can that I know you know, that I know are not the case. I know that there are just certain details, like when I look at the spout here, it doesn't attach to the can like this. So, okay, sorry. If you have questions, email me and I'll see you on Canvas.